Okay, today we're going to take a look at using Google Forms. You've used forms before in computer tech class. Typically the tests or quizzes that I give you are created with Google Forms. So today we're going to look at you creating a form and following along with the video and creating the same one that I am. So I would suggest that you go ahead and split your screen, or at least be able to stop and start the video and kind of stay with me, because once you're finished creating your form, then you're going to go ahead and upload it to Classroom. So the first step is to go to Drive, and then from Drive you're going to go to New, and then More, and then Google Forms. And once you click that, you're going to get your first form. Obviously it's going to show up untitled. It's going to auto save, and it will continue to auto save. So the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and title the form. So when we click right here, we're going to call this example form. And then when you move away from that or hit enter or maybe click down here where it says untitled, that will also populate that title to the form. So you've got the file name changed, you've got the form name changed, and then the design of it defaults always to this purple background. So if you go to the color palette, on the color palette, you can choose a plain color from the palette, or you can click this button, which will take you to the themes. And then there are many different themes that you can choose from. So it doesn't matter to me if you choose a theme or if you want to just change the color on the color palette. It makes no difference. So I'm just going to pick this first one that's right there, and then go ahead and hit select, and then that will change the purple to that theme that you selected. It'll also change the background to match that theme. There isn't much else that you can do as far as customizing it, so just go to the color palette and either pick a color or hit this button and pick a theme, and then your form design is good to go. So we've got example form right there. In the form description, go ahead and type your name. So I'm just going to put Mrs. Sherman in here if I can spell it. You go ahead and type in your name on the form design. And then we'll start with the questions. So you get automatically an untitled question as your first question. So the form appears, it has one question on it. If you click right here where it says untitled question, it's going to open up and let you edit or add a question. So the first thing that we're going to look at are our question types. So we have multiple choice, which is the default, because a lot of people use multiple choice. We're going to click the drop down arrow so you can see all of the possible choices. We're going to run through and create a question for each of those different question types so you can see how they all work before we upload it for grading. So feel free to pause and restart the video as you need to, just so you can get worked through it and follow along with me until we get through this entire example. So the first question that we're going to add is going to be short answer, and when you click it, it just gives you a short little text box to add your answer to. That's why it's called short answer. So we're going to click here, and a lot of times this is used for a name. So we're going to type, please type your name, period. Okay, and it's going to be short answer. Now, If I knew that I wanted a bunch of short answer questions, I could just hit this button right here, which would duplicate this one, and then I could edit it to a different question, but the question type would stay at short answer. If I get this question and I decide I don't want it, I can hit the trash can icon that will delete it. Another thing that you're going to do with your assignments is you're going to require that they answer every question. So I'm going to go ahead and hit the require button on this one because you don't want somebody to try to submit your form without putting their name on it. And then we're good to go. That first one is done. So we're going to go right here to the plus sign, and the plus sign is going to give us add question. So we're going to click it, and you notice that this question, please type your name, has moved up. And now I'm going to scroll a little bit, but we're now on this second question block, and we again are going to pick what type of question we want. So we have short answer, we have paragraph, all of these, and we'll look at each one of them individually, and then we'll add the paragraph one and move it to the end. So let's go ahead and add the paragraph. And the paragraph, you can see it just gives you a long text answer. And what we're going to do with this question is you're going to leave this for me to write in my take on the form that you created. So I'm going to put, please add your input on my form. And that way, when I work through your form, I can just put your grade right there. Okay? So we've got a paragraph text, so I can type a lot of things in there compared to what I can type in for the short text. Okay. So we're going to require that. And if you click these three dots, you can have it show either the description or data validation. You can shuffle answers depending on the question type. So that little more button is going to give you some different options right there. You don't have to worry about anything that's there. Okay, we're going to go back to the plus to add. This will be our third question. We're going to choose a question type now of multiple choice. We've used short answer, we've used paragraph. Now we're going to use a multiple choice question. And let's think of some random, let's go, what is your favorite color? Question mark. Okay. With the multiple choice, the answers are only going to let you pick one. So you can have several options, but you can only have one box selected as your answer. So let's say we're going to go with the school colors. Let's say option 1, I'm going to delete the words option 1. It's going to be red. And then I'm going to hit enter. Option 2 is going to be black. Option 3 is going to be white or gold. And we could always say, what is your favorite? Let's change that to school color. There we go. Okay. So we've got a multiple choice. Here are our answers. If you change an answer, don't like it, you can click this X and get rid of it. So if I decide I don't want red there, I could click it. I could click back down here and add red again. If I wanted to move these around, maybe I don't like the order that they're in, you can see that you get that 6 dots, and I can click and drag that so now red's back up at the top. This picture icon is going to let you choose a file that you want to upload, which we don't have anything that we want to upload for the white option, so we're good for any of those options. So again, we want to make it required, and you'll notice an easy way to tell if they're required. Do you see that red star right there? That means that you have click the option that makes those a required question. So you can't hit submit on the form without filling out the information for that question. Okay, let's go to the plus, and on the plus we're going to go to question type, and this one is going to be checkboxes. Okay, so let's take a look at checkboxes. With the checkboxes, you can choose more than one option. So if there was a question that you wanted to ask and it had several options, and you know maybe somebody would want to answer 2 of those or 3 of them, you use the checkbox type question format, and that will let them check more than one option. Now the multiple choice, like I said, only lets you choose one option. So let's say on the checkboxes, you're going to survey what is your favorite class period, and I'm going to hit question mark. And then for option 1, I'm going to go ahead and just put first. Option 2 is second. Option 3 is third. Whoops. How about D? Option 4 is fourth. Option 5 is fifth. Option 6 is sixth. 7 is seventh. And 8 is eighth. Okay? So if somebody likes second and fifth, when they answer your survey, they can choose both of them because it's a checkbox option type question. I've got this random option 4. See that there? I don't want that, so I'm going to go over here and hit the X to get rid of it. And then I want to make this one required, so click it, and we're good to go. Okay. Sometimes too, when you ask a question on a survey or on a test, you might want some help text, or you can shuffle the order. So you kind of got to think about what you're doing here. I'd say after this question, you could type in, please select all that apply. So, you know, maybe somebody likes every single class period, so they want to check them all. So you might be able to add some of that help text in if you think people are going to have a hard time understanding that they are able to check more than one option on the checkbox type question. Okay, so we've got that. It's required. We're good to go. We're going to hit the plus, and we're going to choose for the next question the drop down. Okay, so we haven't done a drop down question yet. The question for the drop down just gives you a drop down list, and then you can select one option only again. So let's say, oh, how about what Google app do you use the most? How about that for a question? And then we're going to go option 1, and let's say maybe Docs, maybe Sheets, Slides, Drawings, or Sites. Okay, so you have 5 options there. Again, we want it to be required, so we'll click the require button, and then when that question previews, they're going to have those options drop down. They're going to be able to select one to answer your survey. And if you guys want to see how things are looking as you're working, you can always go back up here to the top, and this preview button, the eyeball, just like it was in Sites, will let you preview how your form is going to look. And a lot of times, if I'm not quite sure how I'm going to create something, I kind of preview it, make sure it looks right, and then I go back and edit it. So if you hit this preview button, you're going to notice that your example form opens up in a tab all by itself. And in that tab, it's going to show you how your form is looking so far. So you can see it's got the required questions. They're all required. You can see my options here. You notice on the drop down we don't see the options, but when you click choose, then you see the 5 options that we just put in there. So that's how the drop box works. The check boxes, you can see the multiple choice gives you circles. This is your paragraph text, and this is your short answer text. So you, like I said, can jump back and forth between the 2 tabs and see the preview and the edit. You can also go here and hit the edit this form button. And then what happens is it's open now in 2 tabs in edit mode. So I don't know that you really want to do that. You might get confused having all these tabs open every time you preview. So just go ahead and close it and you're back to the 1 edit, so you're good to go. And then we're down here at the drop down. That was the last one that we added. So we're going to go to the plus sign. And on the plus sign, we're going to add another question. And that question is going to be linear scale. The file upload is soon to roll out, but so far it's still gray. But that is a new addition, so don't worry about that one for right now. We're going to go with the linear scale. And the linear scale is going to let you rank something or rate it. So let's say if we go here, let's just, you can choose from 1, I think, to 10. Yeah, on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 to 5 is the default. We can leave it at 5. That's fine. Sometimes they don't know if 1 is high or 5 is high, or good or bad, or you're probably going to have to add some labels. So let's just go with the question first of all. So let's say we want to rate how well we like our Chromebooks. So let's say, how well do you like your Chromebook? And then we'll leave it 1 to 5, and then we need to tell whoever's filling out the survey that 1 is, let's say we fight it. Okay, and the 5 means that you love it. Okay, so I think that's pretty standard, so they know looking at it that a 1 is bad, a 5 is good, and you've labeled it so that they can tell when they fill it out. We're going to make this required, and that one's good to go. So we're ready to add another question, and let's choose the next question type. We have multiple choice grid. Okay, multiple choice grid. So on this one, you're going to have rows and columns, and they kind of check where the intersection is to answer. So I think you probably need to see this previewed first, but we'll go ahead and we'll do a couple, and then we'll preview, and then we'll add to it. So let's say we're going to make a question that says, pick the correct app for the activity, period. Okay, so I know that's not making much sense right now, but let's say in row 1 we're going to name all our apps. So we're going to have Gmail. In row 2 we're going to have calendar. In row 3 docs. In row 4 sheets. In row 5 slides. In row 6 we'll go with sites, and in row 7 drawings. So those are the apps that I certainly hope by now you're familiar with. And then the columns is what's going to go across the top. So let's say we're going to make like a matching. Okay, so we need to make our selections so that they don't go right across from each other. So let's say our activity here is going to be to create a sign. And our activity here in column 2 is going to be send an email. And we're going to have schedule an event. And then we're going to be, let's say, type a paper. And then we're going to go create a presentation. And then in column 6, let's go calculate data / chart. Create a chart. And then in 7, let's go with, which one are we missing here? How about create a website? Okay, so we've got an activity and an app, 7 of each. You want to make sure that they match. And then let's require this as we have been doing. And then so you can see how it's going to look. I'm going to go up here and you can do that on your own and hit preview. So we're previewing again. Remember, it's opening in a new tab, so don't get confused. And then you can see the ones that we've already looked at. Now, starting with how well do you like your Chromebook, you can see how this is going to preview. You either fight it or you love it. 1 to 5, low to high is what you're looking at. The correct app for the activity, see, you could go through here. For Gmail, we would be sending an email. If we go to calendar, then we would be scheduling an event. Docs would be what we would use to type a paper. So you can kind of see how that grid is working. Now it's going to scream at me here because this is saying right away I have to answer because I made it required. So I'm just going to go up here and close it so I'm out of it, and I'm going to hit leave. Okay, so I'm back on the form. We're almost done. We have 2 more question types, and they're kind of really unnecessary for what we're doing. But if we go to add a question, we have a question type that is for the date. So let's just put something generic in here. What is the current date? Question mark. Again, you're going to make it required. And that one's done. That's all there is to it. And then you're going to hit your plus. We're going to add 1 more. And that last one is just going to be the time. And again, I don't know that you'd ever use the date and time questions for anything, but at least you can see how they work. So let's put something random in, like, what is the current time? And then we should be good to go. We'll make it required. And that's it. So now we've used every single question type. So what I want you to do is look at, see how you get these dots right here when you mouse over things, you get the 4-way arrow. That's going to let you move questions around or select them to edit, and then you just click outside to close it, and then you're in edit on another one. What I'm going to do, and what I want you to do, is this, please add your input on my form. I want you to drag that to the bottom so that when I'm finished with your form, trying it out, I'm going to add my input on what I think works and what doesn't. So I've just clicked and drug so that it's clear down at the bottom. If I go back up to the top and hit preview, you'll be able to see that we have moved that paragraph question all the way to the bottom. Okay, and you can see now too how the current date and time questions work out. Okay, so we should be good with all the question types. So what we need to do now, I'm going to go up here and just hit the X on the tab to close the preview. Back in edit mode, let's look at our other buttons that are right here. We've worked that plus sign. You know exactly what that does. This will let us add another title and a description. So if you wanted like a second title or maybe a second area you wanted marked with a title, you could add another title block. This one's going to let you add an image. Let's go ahead and click the add image button. And I know all of you have the MC clip art in your drive, so let's go to drive and find the folder that's MC clip art, and I'm gonna add the spear. So we'll just click it, hit select, and it's going to add that image right there at the bottom, which we're going to move. We could also title it. So if we wanted a title for that image, we could put a title on it. I am not going to put a title on it. I am going to hit these three dots though and hit align center. And then that's going to center it, and then I'm going to grab these 6 dots right here and I'm going to drag it so that my arrow is clear up underneath the title. And then let's go back and preview, and then when we preview, you're going to be able to see that that arrow spear is added right there at the very top. Okay, so add a clip art to the top. Doesn't have to be the spear. You can add whatever you want. This is just the example, and then drag it so that it's right underneath the title. And then I'm going to go up here and close the preview again. I'm back to edit. Another thing that we're going to do before we actually take our survey is to change the message. So if you hit the gear button, you can look under the gear button. A lot of times I'll have it collect your email address, so I can just leave the name off of it and it collects your email address automatically. So that's an option that you can choose there. And I think on your assignments you're going to need to collect the email addresses, so that's where you're going to go to check that. You can restrict it to who can see it, limit how many times they can respond to it. So that's what you have under the General tab. Under Presentation, you can, if you have a really long survey, show some kind of progression bar. You can shuffle the question order. You can show a link to submit another response, which we don't need. But what the people that are going to fill out your survey are going to see when they hit submit is your response has been recorded. So let's change that to thanks, have a great day, or something better than your response has been recorded. And then the other section here is the quizzes. You can change it into a quiz if you wanted to and assign points to it if you felt like you ever needed to give somebody a quiz, and then it'll give the results right back to them. So you can check that out if you think you might need that. And then we're going to hit save. And then when you can't see that response has changed, but when I fill out my survey form, I'll show you where that's going to be. And then right here are the questions and here are the responses. So when you click responses, you can turn your form off if you no longer want to accept responses. By default it's on. Obviously you create a survey because you want somebody to respond. You can click this spreadsheet button, and when you do that it'll create a spreadsheet for your responses, which is what we want to do. And then it's going to load that spreadsheet so you can see what it looks like right there. We don't need that at the moment, so I'm going to go ahead and I'll leave it open so you can see what happens when I fill out the survey. But I'm going to go back to the form then, And I think that is all that you're going to need to do. Oh, let's look one more thing. I kind of got sidetracked. You can add a video, which if you click that, it would let you add a YouTube video and then put questions underneath the YouTube video. You can also make your survey into different sections. So if you wanted a section 1, a section 2, a section 3, that's what this button does. So other than that, I think we've about looked at everything that you need in order to work on your form. These 3 dots right here, which are always the More button, you're going to be able to make a copy, trash it, print it, add collaborators so that people can work on it and share it with you and work on the same. So you've got some options there under the More button that you're going to use probably when you get ready to do the assignment. So before you turn your form in, I want you to go ahead and preview it like I'm going to do. And then in preview, you're going to fill out your name. So, or you're going to fill out your survey form. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm in preview, which will let me fill it out. My favorite school color, well, you guys know my favorite color is black. My favorite class period, oh, I'd have to choose all 4 of my computer tech class periods. So I'm going to go with the check boxes and get, because on check boxes, I can choose more than one. What Google apps do you use the most? That's kind of a hard one. Probably drawings, I think. That's what I do your assignment sheet in. I use it at least every week. How well do you like your Chromebook? I love it. The correct apps to send an email would be Gmail. For calendar, schedule an event. For docs would be type of paper. Sheets would be calculate data or chart something. Slides would be presentation. Sites would be to create a website, and to create a sign, that would be drawings. The current date today is 11/18 of 2016, and the time right now is 9:32 p.m. according to my computer. And then please add your input on my form. I think it's super. And then you're going to hit submit. Now that we created, okay, and see, here is the response. Thanks, have a great day, that we previously changed. Now you see where that appears. So the sample form has been submitted. If I go up here to my spreadsheet tab, now on my spreadsheet tab, you can see the timestamp of when I submitted the form, my name, you can see all of my answers, and they're just going to populate into the spreadsheet. And then if it was something that you could calculate with, you could calculate it, you could chart it, you could do whatever you wanted with it. Also, back on the example form, in edit mode, I'm going to be able to see that now I have one response. If I want to check the response, I can click it, and then I can see individual responses. Here's the summary. Only me has filled out the survey, so then you can see what my responses have been and get charts created this way without even going to Google Sheets. Okay, I can see by individual who's filled out the forms and their answers, so you can see my form that way. And if there were other people that filled out the form, they just go on and on and on and scroll and scroll and scroll. Okay, So I've got 1 out of 1 done. I could print them, I could trash the response, whatever. But that's the forms in a nutshell. What I want you to do is just go back to Classroom, and then on Classroom you're going to upload this to the card that has the video on and the sample guide sheet, and you'll upload your form from Google Drive. Okay, I hope this helps. Hit pause or rewind or play and stop and go back and forth. If you can't get this all done in a class period, you have this for reference, so you can go back and open your form back up from Drive just like you can any other type of Google app, and then you can continue to work on it, add to it, edit it, etc. Hope you have a great day. Thanks for watching.